Hi everyone, welcome to Birky's Book Time. We're back. Me and Archibald, he's here. If you listen really carefully, you can probably hear him snoring. There he is. He's fast asleep, so I don't really want to wake him up. Okay, before we get on to chapter 9 today, I'd like to say hello to Job. Now, special mention for Job because it's because of Job that we are reading Cogheart, because he was the one who suggested it for our next class reader and everyone thought it sounded ace, so we thought we'd give it a go. So thank you, Job. Now I know you've heard the story, so you know what happened, so no spoilers, but thank you for listening in even though you've already read it. Okay, shall we get on with chapter 9 and find out what has happened to Lily? Here we go. At dusk, Lily walked along the dark landing. She'd been summoned again to see Madame and was dawdling nervously, stopping outside each room on her way and touching each locked door with her hand. Here was the library, with books piled outside, because there was no space on the shelves within. Here, Papa's study, with the buzzer beside it and the spy hole so he could see who was coming and going. Then, his workroom. The big metal door had the words, "Do not disturb," painted on the surface beneath a lightning bolt. Finally, his bedroom, the master suite. Since he'd gone, Madame had certainly wasted no time in taking it over. Lily knocked on the door and, without waiting for a reply, entered. The green velvet curtains were partly drawn across the far window to keep out the cold, and on the bedside table, a small gas lamp glowed with a flattering light. Madame Verdigris perched primly at Mamma's dressing table, applying lotions to her face. The odour of her perfume, mixed with the dusty scent of dried flowers, which filled every vase in the room, made Lily feel vaguely sick. She went and stood by the window, glancing out into the night. In the garden, under the skeletal trees, the falling snow had almost covered Miss Tock and Mr. Wingnut. Just like Papa himself, his machines were gradually disappearing. Soon they'd be invisible, hidden under the frosty white surface, like secrets. If she could only find their keys, she might be able to help them. "Why have you let those mechanicals wind down?" she asked. Madame glanced up from the mirror, her face almost hidden beneath a mask of cold cream. "Is that what the rusty rebel in the kitchen's been telling you, ma chérie?" "I noticed it for myself." "Of course you did." Madame plucked a rogue hair from a mole on her chin and winced. Then she applied some paste from Mamma's shellac case over the spot. Lily felt sick. Papa had kept those things in Mamma's memory, but they'd not been used since she died. Not until now. "You've been through their possessions," she muttered. Madame dabbed rosewater onto her chin with a bony finger. "Whatever Mrs. Ross said, Lily, there's something I want you to bear in mind. All mechanicals are liars. Never take the word of a common mech over a human being." Tears pricked Lily's eyes. She kicked at the carpet. "Mrs. Rust is not a common mech. She's been with us always. She understands. She's looked after me every day since Mamma's death, and she'll look after me until my Papa returns, just like the others. Your father will not return. I am in charge maintenant." "No." Lily shook her head. The belief had been growing in her heart that somewhere her Papa was alive. "He'll return, I know it. And Mrs. Rust has more love in her little metal finger than you have in your entire bony body. So don't ever tell me to take your word over hers again." "Have you quite finished?" "Asseyez-vous. Sit down with me." Madame patted the velvet seat beside her. Lily sniffed and blew her nose on her sleeve. "I'm perfectly fine here, thank you." She folded her arms across her chest. "As you prefer." Madame took up a washcloth and began wiping the ghostly white cream from her face. "But I wish you wouldn't question my decisions. You know, I was the one who suggested your father send you to Miss Grimshaw's academy. I thought it would do you good, though, frankly, I see scant evidence of that." With a last flick of the washcloth, she cleaned a hint of kohl from her eyebrows. Lily noticed that they were plucked unevenly, and their opposing angles made her look like she wore two expressions at once. You could at least try to behave in a way that would make your father proud. Madame stood and indicated the seat in front of the mirror. Now, s'il vous plaît, let me tidy you up. Lily lingered by the window, then did as she was told. I have been considering our situation. Madame picked up Mamma's old silver-backed hairbrush from the nightstand and began brushing Lily's hair, tugging at the tangles. Lily winced and gritted her teeth as Madame hacked at a particularly trying knot with the hairbrush. You are no longer a young lady of means, Madame said. Plus, we've no money to speak of. If we remain here, we'll be obliged to sell Mrs. Rust and the other mechanicals. Please, Lily sobbed, you can't. They barely function. They're all wound down. The other day, Mrs. Rust poured engine oil in my soup instead of cream. Anyone would think she wanted to poison me. Madame took some hairpins from a glass pot and pricked at Lily's head with them. No. Once mechanicals get like that, one is constantly buying upgrades and malheureusement, Lily, we can't afford the parts. Lily shook her hand away. I don't care, she said. Mrs. Rust is staying. They all are. Désolé, but we have no choice. The housekeeper stuck in another hairpin, scraping it against Lily's scalp. Unless you know of something of superior value, an invention of your papa's we might sell. A perpetual motion machine, for example. Her piercing eyes watched Lily in the mirror, and she gave a vicious tug on a strand of unruly hair. I don't know what you mean, Lily said. I don't know what that is. The woman had too many questions. It felt as if she was poking around in her insides. Lily tried to blink back her tears, but they rolled down her cheeks. Don't get upset, ma chérie, Madame cooed. If we want to save Mrs. Rust and the house, then we need to discuss these things like adults. There, c'est fini. She inserted a last hairpin and stood back to take a look at her creation. C'est magnifique, don't you think? Lily regarded her tower of pinned hair in the mirror. It looked not unlike the terrible hair monstrosities the girls in her class were so fond of. It's a mess, she said, like everything else. That night, Lily dreamed of a clear sky and shimmering stars reflected on the ocean. It was summer, and she was running along the beach trying to catch Papa and Mama, who walked ahead. When she stumbled, Mama stopped and bent down to take her tiny hand and help her up. Then the three of them walked on together. Papa carried his walking cane and used it to point out landmarks, rows of iron ships and tall spider platforms, out to sea collecting gas and oil for industry that Lily didn't understand. They weaved their way along the tide line of the bay, while Lily ran in and out of the shallows, letting the seawater rush cold across her feet and jumping away from the breakers. Mama found something, a stone in the sand. She picked it up. This is for you, she said, giving it to Lily. Lily took the stone and studied it. It was heavy and the underside felt lumpy in her palm. What is it? She asked. Mama reached out and turned the stone over in her hand, revealing a bright golden fossil at its centre, like the curving shell of a snail. An ammonite, she said. How did it get there? Papa crowded in beside Mama, peering over her shoulder. Billions of years ago when it died, he said, it sank into the mud and it was buried. Then minerals seeped in slowly, replacing the organic matter until it was petrified. It's the pyrite that gives it that gold colour, fool's gold. Lily looked at the fossil. So it's been hidden inside the stone forever until we found it? Yes, said Mama. The secret's at the heart of it. She put a hand to Lily's face. Suddenly the three of them were in a carriage, in the dark cobbled streets of London, driving home, surrounded by falling snow. The sounds of the city were muffled, but Lily knew at once what day this was. It was the day of the accident. She sat on the back seat of the steam hansom wedged between Mama and Papa. The metal chimney chuffed and spluttered, and the wooden wheels creaked and turned as the mechanical cabby in the exterior's driver's compartment steered them home. They had been out to dinner. Mama had on a long red taffeta dress with the beautiful lapels, and her long dark hair hung loose about her shoulders, a warm hand clasping Lily's leg. Papa wore his tall top hat that grazed the roof of the carriage. His suit tails, which made him look like a penguin, were folded under his legs. Lily still held the stone that Mama had given her in her hand, as if she had jumped from one moment to the next. She glanced at the beautiful golden ammonite buried in the heart of the rock. When she flipped the stone between her fingers, it looked as if the fossil disappeared and reappeared. "The secret's at the heart of it," she whispered. Her parents were talking together over her head, soft words gliding back and forth, accompanied by warm laughter. Lily glanced down. On the floor of the carriage between Papa's feet was a darkly varnished rosewood box with polished brass corners. Odd. She'd had this dream many times, and yet she'd never noticed the box before. "What's inside?" she asked Papa. "My invention," Papa said. "We have to keep it safe and hidden. It's a secret, like your fossil." He nodded at the stone in her hand. "Why?" Lily asked. She suddenly knew she'd had this conversation before. The box, the words, everything. It all seemed strangely familiar, like it was part of a memory rather than a dream. Papa opened his mouth to reply, but no more words came, and Lily saw through the windscreen the other steam wagon careering towards them. The other driver's flashing silver eyes in the moonlight, the sweep of his headlamps across their windscreen, the screaming skid as its wheels crunched across the icy cobbled road. Then Lily felt the impact. A deafening explosion tore the night in two as the steam wagon smashed into the side of their carriage. The golden fossil in its stone flew from her hand, fracturing the windscreen into a spider's web. And Lily and Mama went flying after it, smashing through the glass and gaslights, streaking reflections and snowflakes. And Lily fell into a white drift of blankness, her head filling with a buzz of bright, blinking patterns. It's not looking good for Lily, is it? Can you hear Archibald snoring? I really hope he didn't put you off. It nearly made me laugh quite a few times and I thought I wasn't going to be able to carry on, but I'm a professional, so I did. But he's here snoring his head off. Archie! Archie! You were snoring so loud then, buddy. Okay, everyone, I hope you enjoyed that chapter. I'll be uploading again very soon. Until then, take care. Miss you all. Bye.